Thank you, Dr. Madan Gopal ji, Madam Shailja Chandra ji, and all our esteemed colleagues here. Firstly, I would like to thank the Policy Circle and their entire team for hosting this roundtable conference today. I've been to many conferences, but this is a very different one and a very crucial and something that is of urgent need and importance. On a personal basis, day before yesterday, we had an MP in Parliament was looking for funding from all the MPs for SMA type 1 disease. Now, I know all of you all know SMA type 1 disease, the medicine or the injection that comes at 14 crores for the child. And that's when I realized that the grave need for funding. Probably there are parliamentarians who are actually looking for funding as well. Now imagine if parliamentarians are looking for funding. Where will the common man get that funding from? I've already gone through this pamphlet, and I know there are esteemed doctors, policy makers, researchers, and I'm very glad to be here as a member of parliament as well, so that we can bridge that gap between your expertise and our policy making strengths. I have to leave in a while, but firstly, I would like to understand if we can keep this roundtable conference centric towards where we can improve, especially in the policy level thinking, and as a member of parliament, where I can help you straightforward and make this program reach the parliament at least, so that out of the 1,000 issues that we have there, we can have this at the center point, and maybe people at the parliament should start talking about it. Although I've gone through the pamphlet that was given here, and there are a lot of loopholes already that exist, but maybe getting an understanding straight from your experiences, your expertise, and a direct contact between us, probably I'll get to know more. I would like to thank everybody here, and maybe if we can when we take it forward, maybe we can keep it centric firstly towards the parliamentarian policy level, so that time does not get wasted and lost, and then we can move forward and see where it goes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. To answer your question, I think you've raised a very important issue here that currently this is a very rarely spoken topic as well, but we have seen on ground realities versus the policy implementation. It's very different. So I would like to answer your question, I would like to invite Ms. Naveen Tara Kamath here, and also following which I would like to have Mr. Manjeet Singh, who is the president of LSDSS. These two are the patient advocacy groups. They represent patient communities across India. They live with the patients. They have seen the plight of these patients. And I think they would be able to tell you what is the ground reality, whereas the policy does exist. The government has come up with a very good policy, but towards the implementation, if you speak about, I think Ms. Naveen Tara, if you can just please take over and throw some light. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you everybody for being here in spite of the rains. Really appreciated to listen to our voices. Policy Circle, thank you so much for organizing this. Let me start with, why I am here. What is the reason I am here? So I have lived this journey with my son, who is 16 years now, through the rare disease journey. So the rare disease journey started for us when my child was just an infant, when the diagnosis happened, and the diagnosis itself is a huge odyssey. It takes huge challenges for us. The first step is diagnosis, and then we get a name which we have never heard of. We Google for the name, we find out about that disease. As parents, as little educated parents, we do Google and find out. That is the second hurdle. We try to understand it. And then we go to pediatricians where the awareness is so low, and then there is no treatment. And finally, there is a hope that there is a treatment that is existing. Well, we get an access to the treatment, and finally it lapses. It's like enjoy your child only till that amount is available for you. After that, what? There is no answer for that. So that's where the reality is that our children are with us till 50 lakhs is there. After that, the conversations at the dinner tables. Let me bring in some examples here. With the 50 lakhs that was initiated, there is a girl. It's very personal to me because I meet these patients and I speak to them. She's an M.Pharm student and she's completed her M.Pharm, but her 50 lakhs is expired, so she doesn't know where her career is going to be. There's another child who cracked the JEE exam. She wrote the JEE paper. She's doing her engineering, and right now she has no access to medicines. She's missing her classes. Then there is a small girl from a very small village. She's doing her 10th standard, has lost her ability to hear because the treatment has stopped. So this stories goes on and on. There are about 106 patients right now. If you speak to them, there is these kind of stories where they have achieved a certain milestone in their life, and after that there is a full stop to it. The life stands still. So the worst thing in this is that the dinner table conversations around these families are, how am I going to keep my child alive? Where is the fund going to come from? I don't think we want to have a conversation around the dinner table, uh, speaking about funds, speaking about how my child is going to lead their life, whether the child will even survive the next year. So this is actually the reality, and we are really thankful to NPRD in 2021, which brought a new hope and the future for family like ours. Uh, the LSD, lysosomal storage disorders, is a lifetime treatment. Like sir was saying, it comes under category 3A, which means these treatments are approved by the experts and committee members that this works on the children and hence has to be treated. So from there, 50 lakhs was initiated for the first time treatment, of course, like everybody has said. Uh, but after that, what? There is no continuity. We don't have a future from here. There are certain states who have recently come up with certain funds, like we have Kerala, we have Rajasthan, we have Karnataka, who are kind of collaborating with the central scheme and trying to provide funding for bridging the gap to continue the funding. But after that, what is a sustainable solution for that is still something which doesn't exist. So that's where we are at, and recently we also got to know that for this particular year, we had about 299 crores allocated in 2025, out of which only 46 crores has been utilized, which means the amount could have been a saving for all the 60 patients who have lost their lives. So there is funds which are available, but there is no access to those particular funds. That is one thing. And second thing is, of course, how can we look at continuity and how can we collaboratively look at solving these issues. So that's where I would seek the support from everybody, because we can provide our personal experiences and provide our feedback on that, but how it has to be taken up on a larger level, how changes has to be made to make the bright future for these children is something we need your support and guidance on. Thank you, Srishti.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think that was very informative. Quickly, Manjeet sir, I would like you to throw some light on ultra rare disorders and why is it different and why should it need continuous therapy? If you would like to please take up. Thank you.
So I am Manjeet Singh, Honorary President of Lysosomal Storage Disorders Support Society. I am parent of two boys who are afflicted with lysosomal storage disorder, MPS2, Hurler syndrome. So we have, when we started and established in 2010, we had 900 patients all over India. It's a voluntary society. We came together starting from the 100 patients in 2010 at Sir Gangaram Hospital to in 2020 about 2018 about 800 to 900 patients. But sadly, out of 900 or more patients, we have lost almost 300 patients during this 15 years in the absence of accurate diagnosis or timely treatment or rehabilitative care or symptomatic care. So coming to the policy and its implementation, what we see, what everybody has spoken, Dr. Gopal, Naveen Tara and Sir, that there is a funds are available, but they are not being utilized. There is a lack of coordination between the Center of Excellences of Rare Diseases with the ministry. Despite the fact there is a special there is a committee of rare diseases of expert groups is there in ministry, and this gap continues now and then. And recently on 20th March in Parliament, the question was raised by Honourable MP, sir, and it was answered by the State Minister for Health that so much funds were available from 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and so much were utilized and so much are unutilized. And 89 crore rupees are unutilized. Am I right? Then the question is, he also committed that 164 patients have exhausted their 50 lakh rupees limit. Out of 164, 103 patients belong to lysosomal storage disorders, whose treatment has been stopped for like 3 months, 6 months or more. I give you a live example of one young angel patient. Alishba is there. Alishba, please stand up. She is there. Sir, look at there. She is a Gaucher disease, lysosomal storage disorder patient. And look at, she doesn't look at all a patient from any angle. We got her treatment started in 2022 through the order of Delhi High Court. And that treatment continued for 2 years. Then the policy was implemented, the government stopped, AIMS Delhi stopped giving the treatment. Now she is not on the treatment for last 6 to 9 months. And she is unable to hear, she is hard of hearing. She needs cochlear implant because comorbidities are very much common in these diseases. मतलब अगर हमारे को ये बीमारी होती तो इसके साथ हमारे को दूसरी रिलेटेड बीमारियां भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती हैं. तो ये बच्ची अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पाती, बट हिज फादर एंड हिज मदर, हर मदर एंड वी ऑल हैव बीन नॉकिंग वन डोर टू अदर टू गेट हर ट्रीटमेंट, बट for last 6 months I think there is no treatment at all. So this, and she goes to school also, sir. She is studying very well. My patients who are LSD patients, 5 students have become doctors, MBBS doctors. They are engineers, aeronautical engineers, computer engineers, MBAs, and some of them have married also and having a normal family life with their having their further offsprings after having the accurate diagnosis test facilities which are available to the carriers. So here in the Parliament, the minister also put the onus on the Supreme Court, which is very absurd. Supreme Court is a judiciary; they are not the executive. They cannot take a decision to allocate funds or not to allocate funds or keep the treatment going on. There was a date on 24th of March this year, March, in Supreme Court of the collective hearing on these disorders. And you will surprise to know, sadly, sir, the double bench did not speak or say anything, and they just adjourned the case to 24th May, which are the holidays of Supreme Court for 1.5 months. And these are vulnerable children are dying, and they are giving the date 3 months to 4 months, and they don't at all hear or the case or hear the patients or the advocates that what should be done. 972 crore rupees was sanctioned by Delhi High Court on the recommendation of expert group of doctors in 2023, and the central government has taken stay on that by filing a SLP. When they have taken a stay on that filing the SLP, sir, how can they have intention to continue the treatment? So that is the thing is going on. That is which is not. What I am trying to tell you is the facts of matter which which are not here. What we have here is funds allocated, funds utilized, and funds not utilized. My worry or our worry further aggregates because it is not only 164 children which are whose funds have been exhausted. It is not only these are the 64 children out of, sir, 5,000 children collectively for all rare disorders like DMD, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, SMA, and lysosomal storage disorders, and some other diseases also. What about other patients? They are not being even considered by the Center of Excellences. Like if they consider only a patient who is a 2 to 5 year old or 7-year-old and having a weight of less than 20 kg, and they don't considering the patient who are 10-year-old, 15-year-old. Here there is a gap. There is no directive from the Ministry of Health to the Center of Excellences. Then why should they not consider all the patients? We don't want. I never wanted treatment for my children because by the time the treatment came, they would not get benefit. But here there are patients who can qualify, who are eligible to get the treatment, but they are not being considered. And that is the sad story here. So, vis-a-vis, every month, sir, 5 to 10 patients are all over India are diagnosed with lysosomal storage disorders, and other 20 patients of SMA and DMD, and some other rare diseases also. So every month there are patients are adding. For that, what will happen to them? There is no consideration by the Center of Excellences. Center of Excellences are 15 Center of Excellences have been created all over India in the reputed government hospitals, and there are nodal officers. There are the physicians, genetic heads are there who should have a committee meeting and decide the treatment. But sadly, this process is not being done. I will tell you there are some 5 centers which have come up recently last year. So they are novice to this rare diseases. They have not started treatment at all. But there is a hospital like Maulana Azad Medical College. In 2025-26, they have not enrolled a single patient for treatment. So these ambiguities are there, which also need to be addressed by the ministry. Next, we are concerned about the continuity of treatment, continuum of the treatment, which is the first objective, and which should be done. I don't want that treatment to 164 children whose treatment has been exhausted, whose 50 lakh limit has been exhausted. Sir, the fear is if their treatment is not continued like Alishba, if their treatment is not continued after 6 months, 3 months, or 6 months or 9 months, the patient come to ground zero. The treatment elapses. It comes back because it's an artificial enzyme which is given to the patients. And why I am saying 3, 6, 9 months, it depends from patient to patient. The progression of disease of patient to patient. So the need of our is coordination ministry, continuum to do under 64 patient treatment. Why under 64? Because I don't want that those patients who have shown, sir, good results, who have shown near normal life and improved results, they should be continued. They should be continued with the additional funding for this, or the funds which are already lying with them. They should be allowed, because they are not allowed by the ministry to spend more than 50 lakh rupees, even 1 rupee. So if ministry can suggest them, you can give treatment to the most eligible who are having good progress of the treatment. They should be continued. Nevertheless, it should be onus on the Ministry of Health also to make a mechanism or make a provision of further funding for these kind of children who are already getting treatment. Naveen Tara said states like Kerala, Karnataka, Rajasthan. They have created their own funds, not with the collaboration of center. They have created from their state funds. And you will surprise, I have filed writ petitions in all these states. And these, she also knows, this is the result of our long-standing petitions and awareness among the states, people and patients and hospital doctors and other stakeholders that these diseases exist. So this way, some more states will definitely come forward for this thing. So our ministry should also have a directive to the National Health Mission of the states that they should have some funding provision for patients at their state level. And lastly, I must tell that Niti Aayog and has been working on generic medicine, and we are hoping there some trials will be starting within next 6 months. Coming to SMA, like sir, you said for one patient 14 crore. That 14 crore to 17 crore is for 2-year-old child and less than 10 kg child. If child is 5-year-old and 20 kg, that 14 crore will not help because that is for gene therapy. The normal treatment for SMA patients is cost 2 crore to 7 crore rupees per year. 200 patients are getting free by the company's in compassionate programs. LSD patients are also getting 250 under compassionate programs. 28 patients are getting through Employee State Insurance Corporation, ESI, for the workers who are working in the private sector. So generic, our next most important sir objective should be with this accurate diagnosis and focus on generic by Department of Biotechnology and ICMR, CSIR. And a good news is, which you may be knowing, that for SMA, generic medicine has already come. And it costs just 3 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees per year per patient. कहाँ 2 करोड़ से 7 करोड़ रुपए, कहाँ सिर्फ 3 लाख से 5 करोड़ आ गई. मेरे बहुत सारे patients who have enrolled themselves who are buying this medicine because it is a not even 1% of the cost of the imported drugs. So this is my submission. Sorry,
Thank you, Manjeet Singh ji,
I took a long
for that elaborate explanation on what is expected from the Parliament, from the MPs here. So any thoughts, if you would like to elaborate on what they have said?
Yes. Firstly, I had a few questions regarding your first page and the second page. There's a irregularity in the amount that the government has spent. In the first page, you mentioned that 46 crores has been utilized and 260 crore remains available. Whereas in the second page, you mentioned that 83 crores is currently lying unutilized. Am I missing something? Is that?
Yes, sir. So, on the first page, the 299 crore, the ministry allocated this fund in FY 25-26 for the treatment of rare disease patients across India. Now, this is as per an RTI filed by a patient advocacy group. How we received this information that so far only 46 crores have been disbursed by the ministry out of this allocation. Now, the second data point that you see on the next page is till 2025. This is fiscal year 2024 to 25, which the ministry responded in a very recent parliamentary response that sir just mentioned, Manjeet sir. So you have to add this amount now. The 83 crores is still lying with the centers of excellences plus the underutilized funds that I've mentioned on the first page. So these are two data points, but technically it's one. In a nutshell, what we're trying to say is that there's a lot of funds that was allocated / disbursed by the ministry to these centers of excellences, but currently this fund is underutilized because the centers of excellences to begin with have not onboarded patients, the eligible patients who were supposed to be put on treatment, number one. Number two, what the point that we're trying to make today is that this fund, this unutilized fund could have been used on the patients who have exhausted money. We are talking about 120 odd patients, and this is just a rough estimate. As we speak, almost 5 to 10 patients are exhausting their money in different states, sadly. So what we're trying to say is that this money, this underutilized money, could be used on those patients for the time being, because those patients are not getting any funding, saying that your central funding is over, your 50 lakh cap is over. But what we are trying to say is that there are funds available, and as we speak, we are also closing this financial year. So if these funds do not get utilized, they will get lapsed. So this is, I think, the whole point which Manjeet sir also elaborated upon.
They'll get carried forward.
No, there is a clarity on it.
They don't get carried forward.
No, there is a clarity on it. These funds will not get elapsed. They will continue.
They will get carried forward. So as of now, 343 crores is.
Exactly. So the point again goes back to the same thing. If these patients, like for example, we have 2 patients with us in the room right now, and both of them have exhausted their money. Sadly, I mean, they've gotten therapy for a long time, but now the therapy has been halted. So the health is deteriorating to a great extent. You see the other patient right there. If you want, I mean, the parents would like to say a few words. सर, अगर आप कुछ बताना चाहते हैं सर को कि क्या इश्यूज आ रहा है लिशबा के साथ, मोहम्मद के साथ, यू कैन प्लीज टेक ओवर सर.
सर, मेरा नाम मकसूद आलम है, मेरी बेटी का नाम अलिशबा खान है, ये दिल्ली से रहने वाली है. इसका 2020 से ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट हुआ था, वो भी कोर्ट के थ्रू, जैसे मंजीत सर ने बताया. इसमें जो है LHD का बहुत बड़ा रोल है, जो कि मतलब हम जैसे लोगों को मतलब मेडिसिन किसी भी तरह से करके मिल रही है. मंजीत सर इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब मेहनत करते हैं. 2020 से जब मेडिसिन स्टार्ट हुई कोर्ट के थ्रू, फिर उसके बाद में रेयर डिसीज पॉलिसी बनी 2021 में. 2020, 21, 22 तक की इसकी मेडिसिन मिली. उसके बाद में 22 में बंद कर दिया गया मेडिसिन को. जब हम जाकर के वहाँ पे पता किए तो हमें पता चला कि मतलब ये 50 लाख की मेडिसिन आपकी कंप्लीट हो गई है. फिर उसके बाद में हम फिर वापस जो है कोर्ट गए. कोर्ट से फिर से जजमेंट आया कि नहीं, मेडिसिन मिलनी चाहिए. फिर 6 महीने की मेडिसिन मंगा करके हमको दिया गया. फिर 6 महीने की मेडिसिन मंगा करके जब दिया गया, फिर वापस उसके बाद में बंद कर दिया गया. अब इसको जब मेडिसिन स्टार्ट हो जाती है, अभी जैसे 2020 से लेकर के 2022 तक की जब मेडिसिन मिली, फिर उसके बाद में जब 6 महीना मेडिसिन बंद हो गई तो फिर से वापस बैक हो गई. यानी फिर जिस परेशानी से हम गुजर रहे थे, फिर वापस सेम वही परेशानी इसको स्टार्ट हो गई. उसके बाद में 2022 में जब 6 महीने की मेडिसिन मंगा करके बंद दिए, फिर 2023 में मेडिसिन बंद कर दिए. अब मेडिसिन टोटल 9 महीने के लिए मेडिसिन बंद हो गई. अब 9 महीने के बीच में इसका हियरिंग लॉस हो गया. अब फिर वापस हम भाग करके कोर्ट गए. अब कोर्ट गए, फिर वहाँ से जो है ऑर्डर हुआ कि मेडिसिन मिलनी चाहिए. 2023 में फिर वापस मेडिसिन हमें मिली सिर्फ 6 मंथ के लिए. 6 मंथ के लिए मेडिसिन मिली. अब वो 6 मंथ की मेडिसिन जब 2023 में हमें मिली, फिर उसके बाद में बंद हो गई. फिर उसके बाद तब से कोई भी मेडिसिन नहीं मिली. फिर उसके बाद में कंपनी के थ्रू मतलब किसी भी तरह से कोशिश करके 3-4 महीने के लिए मेडिसिन मिली 2024 में. फिर वापस जो सर ने बताया कि मतलब जजमेंट आया था 975 करोड़ रुपए गवर्नमेंट को देने के लिए कहा था. फिर वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट चली गई. अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट जब चली गई, 2 साल का स्टे उस पर हो गया, तो फिर हम क्या कर सकते. हम एम्स जाते हैं, एम्स में मेडिसिन नहीं मिल पाती है, कहीं से कोई भी सपोर्ट नहीं मिल पाता है. अब इसकी मेडिसिन जो 2020 से हमको मेडिसिन मिल रही थी, इसका फिर वापस हम 0 पे आ गए. फिर से वापस ये 2021-22 में स्कूल जाती थी, 23 में, 2025 में इसका स्कूल जाना बंद हो गया, इसलिए कि फिर वापस हम बैक हो गए. फिर से हमारी सेम वही परेशानी हो गई. पेट बढ़ गया, लीवर बढ़ गया, स्प्लीन बढ़ गया. इसके कारण इसके बोन में वीकनेस आ गई. अब इसको स्कूल में नहीं भेज सकते हैं, इसलिए कि वहाँ बच्चों के साथ में एक्टिविटी करे कि बोन इसका वीक है, कहीं धक्का दिया, कहीं और कुछ, या गिर गया, बोन फ्रैक्चर हो गया. इसके कारण हम इसको स्कूल नहीं भेज सकते. फिर इसका हियरिंग लॉस है, इसके कारण भी नहीं कुछ कर सकते. तो अब जो है 2023 से फिर हमको मेडिसिन नहीं मिली है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से. जब भी हम एम्स जाते हैं या कहीं से भी जाते हैं तो हमें वही जवाब मिलता है कि आपके 50 लाख की मेडिसिन आपको ज़्यादा ही मिल गया है, इसके ज़्यादा हम मेडिसिन आपको नहीं दे सकते हैं. गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी ऐसी है कि 50 लाख से ऊपर हम आपको मेडिसिन नहीं दे सकते हैं. तो हमारी यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि किसी भी तरह से करके हमें ये 50 लाख वाली जो बाउंडेशन है इसको ख़त्म की करके, जो जिन बच्चों को मतलब मेडिसिन से इम्प्रूवमेंट मिलता है उनको रेगुलर मेडिसिन दिया जाए, ताकि कम से कम इनको मेडिसिन से बेनिफिट मिले और इसकी लाइफ जो है स्ट्रेट गुजरे. थैंक यू सर.
मैं बस एक सवाल आपसे करना चाहता हूँ. लगभग क्या एवरेज कॉस्ट है पर मंथ के हिसाब से?
सर, 1 साल का हमने एम्स से एस्टिमेट ले रखा है.
हाँ.
इसका गॉशे टाइप 3 है।
टाइप 3 है।
गॉशे डिसीज इज इसका टाइप 1, टाइप 2, टाइप 3। टाइप 1 और टाइप 3 बच्चे टाइप 3 के बच्चे 1 के 3 के सर्वाइव करते हैं, 2 के नहीं करते हैं बाई बर्थ। और एक बच्चा जिसका वेट 10 केजी है और वो 10 से 20 केजी है और वो 5 साल या 8-9 साल का है, ये डोज जो है वेट के हिसाब से बढ़ती है, तो उसका खर्चा सर 45 लाख रुपए पर ईयर। अब इसका वेट कितना होगा?
इसका 17 किलो।
17 किलो है। सो अभी भी ये उस कैटेगरी में आती है कि 45 लाख रुपीज इफ शी गेट्स पर ईयर, तो इसका इलाज कंटिन्यू होगा। पर जैसे सर वेट बढ़ता है, मान लीजिए 20 से 40 किलो हो जाता है, तो कॉस्ट डबल हो जाती है, क्योंकि डोज डबल हो जाती है, वो 45 से 90 लाख हो जाती है।
ये लाइफ लॉन्ग
ये सारी लाइफ लॉन्ग है।
लाइफ लॉन्ग है सर।
लाइफ
हाँ,
लॉन्ग।
इसमें एक दो MPS 2 में जीन थेरेपी आई है, इसी तरह की बीमारी है वो भी। इनका एक और बेटा है, वो भी MPS 1 है। ये गॉशर डिसीज है, वो MPS 1 है। तो उसमें MPS 2 में जीन थेरेपी स्टार्ट हुआ है, अभी ट्रायल स्टार्ट हुआ है। अगर जीन थेरेपी आ जाएगी तो डेट विल बी वन टाइम इंजेक्शन लाइक SMA। तो मेरा बेटा का वेट था 45 केजी, तो उसकी जो कॉस्ट थी वो 3 करोड़ रुपए एनुअल आती थी। उसको सैंक्शन हुई थी बहुत लेट, तो वो स्टेबलाइज हो गया था। लेकिन जो प्रोग्नोसिस और डिबिलिटेटिंग इफेक्ट ऑलरेडी हो चुका था, दैट कुड नॉट बी रिकवर्ड। सो योर आंसर इज वेट वाइज इट इंक्रीजेस।
और फिर बार बार ये कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट को कोर्ट डायरेक्ट करती है। तो
देखो, कोर्ट ने तो क्लियरली कह दिया था कि इनको दवाई कंटिन्यू मिलनी चाहिए, लेकिन वो पॉलिसी आ गई। पॉलिसी आने के बाद भी इन्होंने 20 लाख का क्लॉज डाला वन टाइम का ट्रीटमेंट को। 20 लाख में सबने बात किया, एक्सपर्ट डॉक्टर्स ने कि 20 लाख से कुछ नहीं होगा, तो उसको 20 से बढ़ा के 50 लाख कर दिया। तो अभी वो सर्कुलर जो है वही चल रहा है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी उसी को एनफोर्स कर रखा है।
नहीं, when the court directs the ministry,
हाँ,
तो
अब
वो पैसा कहाँ से लेकर आते हैं? वो अनयूटिलाइज्ड फंड से निकालते हैं या फिर दे डोंट?
नहीं, मिनिस्ट्री जब कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर किया तो एम्स ने अपने पैसों से प्रिक्योर की मेडिसिन प्रिक्योर की, उन्होंने मिनिस्ट्री से पैसे लिए, मिनिस्ट्री देती है उनको पैसे। लेकिन जब पॉलिसी आ गई, देन दे सेड कि आफ्टर 50 लाख रुपीस वी विल नॉट कंटिन्यू।
तो मिनिस्ट्री ने ब्लॉक कर दिया।
मिनिस्ट्री ने देना बंद कर दिया। अब जो पॉलिसी डिसीजन होगा उसी में वो चलेंगे, वो जो कि सब ड्यूटीज है इस टाइम।
Can I conclude where I can help?
Yes, sir, sure.
Thank you आपका पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस भी शेयर करने के लिए, बिकॉज आई हैव टू लीव ऑन एन अर्जेंट बेसिस। वन रिकमेंडेशन टू ऑल द डॉक्टर्स, आप सभी लोगों को, पॉलिसी सर्कल को, रिगार्डिंग द पार्लियामेंट्री इंटरवेंशंस। See, I am very direct at my approach. I'll clearly state to you, I am a member of parliament, a single member of parliament, being in an opposition party. For example, where you mentioned that somebody put up a question and the ministry directed that 83 crores is unutilized. That is just for a research basis for all of you all to know. But what you all are looking for is for a policy change, a strong policy change, so that we can help the patients.
Simplified implementation of policy.
Yes, that has to come from the ministry itself.
Yes.
My recommendation to you, and where I can help you as well, is there's a health committee that sits for the parliament, that is chaired by Mr. Ramgopal Yadav. He is from my party as well. And maybe if we approach them and they take up your case, where people from the policy circle and some doctors as well come up for that meeting, where you can directly speak to the committee and the committee members, that includes all members of parliament. All members of parliament. Maybe there you can, maybe it's a positive step to where you want to reach. Firstly, and if that can happen as soon as possible, that would be perfect, because I think so time is getting lost and the battle is of time more than money.
Yes.
And secondly, on an individual basis, putting up questions or speaking in the parliament, that is one issue, but when we are fighting about life and children's life, I don't think so that is where, that is not necessary if we cannot do those policy changes. So if we can note down that we can get you people to the health committee meeting, directly approaching 20-25 MPs over there along with the chairman, so that they have direct contact with the government and the ministries, probably inculcating your thoughts as well and your suggestions, and then bringing about a policy change. And maybe if ma'am has to speak something, and we can get her idea as well, and then I would.
Yes, sir, I would like to request you, sorry, ma'am, that you, as a member of parliament, and along with some other members of parliament, you can send a representation, strong representation to Niti Aayog health member. There is a health member in Niti Aayog, and health advisor to the Prime Minister, because that can directly focus to direct the ministry to come forward with some solutions. Thank you.
Sir, yeah, I think very well said, and yeah, we appreciate you taking us to the chair of the Standing Health Committee. I think that would really make up our case, because as you rightly mentioned, the time is running, and all we're doing is losing lives, sadly. So definitely, that is one thing that we would.
Also, one thing that ma'am mentioned was diagnosis in itself is a very difficult process. The numbers that you're mentioning in the report, maybe there are more. I mean, not maybe, definitely there are more. It is not getting diagnosed or recognized, and there's no comprehensive study that is taking place. So the funds that is underutilized, maybe we can utilize those funds in new patients as well if we find new patients and we have that comprehensive diagnosis. So maybe that can also be taken up into a meeting where they can have programs such as or camps. But that is for later. Maybe if ma'am has something to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saroj. I mean, it's wonderful to see somebody so young and so concerned about these issues. I must say, Policy Circle asked me to come, and I said this is not a subject I know very much about. They said, no, from a policy angle, please say something. So I'm glad that you are sitting here. I have very few points, but I mean, this comes from years of experience, both in the health ministry and post-health ministry. So all I can say is that you've touched the completely on the right spot. The Standing Committee of Parliament is the right place to address this. And Ram Gopal Yadavji, I remember I had appeared before him for unqualified medical practitioners, these Jhola Chhap doctors. And I do remember that I think Jairam Ramesh was the man who was doing most of the talking. But ultimately they did give recommendations as to what should be done. Ministry did their own thing, that doesn't matter. So I feel the following needs to be done. One, this has to be articulated in a way that with your help, the Parliamentary Committee takes this up as an item. The minute it is taken up as an item, all these players, let it be the committee, let it be Centers for Excellence, let it be your ICMR, all of them can be put on the mat. Okay, what are you doing? Because with all the policy and the act and the money being available, this is absolutely inexcusable what is happening. I would say the minute you do that, you need to ask some questions when that committee meets. And since you have taken the trouble of being here, if you're not on the committee, I think you should go there as an advisor to them, because very rare, I must congratulate you to find a member of parliament so concerned about such issues. But having said that, I would say you should put questions to the head of this Center of Excellence people. What is their difficulty? Why are they playing this kind of a very apathetic, their whole time job is to do this. Why are they allowing it to just slip like this? Secondly, you do need to call the Union Health Secretary and ask her, why is it that this left arm doesn't know what the right is doing? When did she last take a meeting on this subject? Why is she not giving a direction, and you would like a report on it? You also need to ask the ICMR head that this is something where prevalence and a question that you asked, you must for every disease have some idea nationally of the incidence, meaning it is taking place more in Karnataka, it's taking place more in whatever state. Secondly, prevalence, meaning is it something which is going on and on and on ki kabhi ubar ke ekdam aa jata hai. So for doing that, the ICMR has a job to have a multi-centric trial or something done by which they are able to pinpoint which are the states where this is more rampant, prevalence, and is the incidence growing. Unless you have numbers, you cannot just deal with ikka dukka kind of cases. This is the job of ICMR. There is a full-fledged secretary there who should be answering this question. I also feel that there is an example which can be followed. You know, I was in the ministry in 1993. I was very young at that time, the Transplantation of Human Organs Act was passed. I was a joint secretary, passed in Parliament. I'm doing some work on my own, and I happened to think, what happened to that act? And what happened was that from 1993 to almost 2011, nothing happened. It just lay there. I mean, the whole idea was, if a person is brain dead in a hospital, can you retrieve the liver and the organs? Maybe the family can be persuaded by the doctors. Doctors have a lot of say, and you can help through in the transplantation cases. Liver is very important, lungs are very important, heart is very important. And you have people dying, maybe from accidents also, and you're not retrieving that. Spain is doing fantastic work. Tamil Nadu has done some very good work. The rest of the country is lying. Now, the question is, it lay dormant till 2011. Apparently, a parliamentary committee asked for a report, exactly what we are saying. After that, the ministry sort of got into the act. Dheere dheere, they set up something called, it was there, but they never bothered about it, NOTO. This is a kind of an organization which is able to keep these retrieved organs in and be able to send them to even private hospitals. Fortis, Apollo, Artemis, they have on call. These are the patients who are waiting. This matches with this. Call comes within 6 hours, that organ. It is almost like that film Robin Cook ka jo tha, kya naam hai, Coma. It is almost like that, but it is happening. I didn't believe it, so I asked the Fortis people, one of the doctors, I trust her. So I said, "Is this correct? Ye ho kyun raha hai ki ye to sirf they're just saying it?" Apparently, it is happening. So what you need is this banking system. किसको क्या ज़रूरत है, किस स्टेज पे है, and a triaging. This is the case which has hope. These are the cases which have to be given to keep them alive and to keep them as useful members of society. अगर engineers बन गए, doctors बन गए, obviously they are not useless people. They should not be treated like just vegetables. But triaging is important because you cannot throw money in all directions out of sympathy alone. But triaging has to be done by people who will be able to give answers कि A का case क्यों किया, B का नहीं किया. That requires transparency. So finally, since you're going, I don't want to spend time. The one thing that's needed, which Policy Circle can do, or these groups on their own, they need to have a media promoter. You need a brand ambassador who will be able to bring this up in the media all the time. Not in terms of what the gentleman just told us, which is very, very technical. The sound is very technical. Put it into, this child will otherwise lose his limbs. He'll have to be in a wheelchair. After a wheelchair, he will die. Put it in those terms, not in these kind of big names. They frighten people. Just put it, this child needs this because without this, this is going to happen. Then people will respond, and media does that better than doctors and people like us. So these are the few things that I want to say, and I do feel that I am absolutely surprised that they were able to get you to come here and that you sat here, you asked the right questions, and you put your finger on the right thing, which is having the standing parliamentary committee there going into this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. I think very rightly said. Very few people actually take up this issue because it's a very niche topic. Not many people are also aware about this issue. And you're absolutely right. I think we need to get this out, even if we have to take help from media. And we've seen time and again, media is the fourth pillar of democracy, and it has proved time and again that if such issues are highlighted, the government does take a note of it as well. So very rightly mentioned, and thank you so much, sir, for your presence. I think your insights and your interest in this area has really helped us and given us hope that, this is something where we can seek some support. And I think I really appreciated your recommendation of us going to the chair of the committee, and we would really need your support in that as well. And we would also be glad if you could write a representation on our behalf. We would definitely, get in touch with you after this, and if the patient representations can go out to the Union Health Minister, to the Prime Minister, and we can just get this issue, in the notice of the correct decision makers. That would also help our case at this point, because the time is running and the patients are exhausting money every second, and patients are also sadly dying every second. So I think That is very important. Thank you so much for your presence, sir, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and do stay in touch. We will meet. Thank you.